says APC planning to woo each senator with N50 million. PDP senators who have EFCC queries will be given a clean bill of health once they defect to the APC by Henry Umoru Abuja, the factional group of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). The reformed APC yesterday raised the alarm that the ruling party and government have concluded arrangements to forcefully open the National Assembly to reconvene and impeach the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki. The RAPC said that the APC senators are planning to reconvene and cut short the annual recess, which would elapse September 26, just as it said that plans are on to woo senators with N50 million for the actualization of moves to force the lawmakers to return. According to the RAPC, the government has decided to take to forceful reconvene of the National because using legal means to remove the Senate President would be a difficult process, adding that once the Senate leadership is overthrown in a coup d'etat manner, the Senate will immediately consider the violent budget of the INEC and also approves the pending nominations in the Senate. The APC government is also alleged to reach out to some People's Democratic Party (PDP) senators, especially those who have Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) queries, in order to give them a clean bill of health once they defect to the APC. In a statement yesterday in Abuja by the National Publicity Secretary of RAPC, Prince Kasim Efegbua, if the government succeeds in removing Saraki, he would be replaced by the chairman, Senate Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, APC, Nasarawa West. Efegbua's statement read, "The rumors making the rounds that Senator Bukola Saraki, the Senate President, would be impeached by Krukahok has remained unabated in the last few days. We can bring you news that the disputed leadership of the APC, working in cahoots with the Attorney General and Minister of Justice coupled with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, have perfected the plans to apply Gestapo methods to forcefully unseat the Senate President." A high-powered meeting of these persons was held at the Maitama residence of the disputed chairman of the APC on Thursday, the 2nd of August 2018, where they brainstormed on the possible ways to carry out their illegality. The meeting, which lasted for 3 hours, insider source confirmed to us at the RAPC, explored both legal and illegal approach to execute the assignment of ensuring that Dr. Bukola Saraki ceases to be the Senate President. Having met a brick wall going by the legal processes involved before the Senate can be reopened, the disputed APC leadership is toiling with the barbaric idea of forcefully opening the National Assembly, reconvene the Senate and use the senators of the APC to preside over the planned impeachment. Senator Abdullahi Adamu has been penciled down to succeed distinguished Senator Bukola Saraki, amidst a host of other changes in the Senate's principal officers. Once the Senate leadership is overthrown in a coup d'etat manner, the Senate will immediately consider the violent budget of the INEC and also approves the pending nominations in the Senate. Part of the plot was to reach out to some PDP senators, especially those who have EFCC queries, in order to give them a clean bill of health once they defect to the APC. They also agreed to woo some senators with the sum of 50 million naira each, N50 meters. We are by this statement alerting the nation and the international community of these barbaric, gangsteristic, primitive and rebarbative plots aimed at deliberately overheating the system and undermine law and order by sheer use of brute force. We are raising alarm because of the dangers this portends for democracy, especially in an already fragile political atmosphere that has played host to several fluctuations and militarization in the last 2 weeks. Part of the plot is to seek out what they called a friendly judge, where they could procure either a black market injunction, or Jankara court order that would be used as alibi for the planned impeachment and takeover of the National Assembly. We find all these plots as burdensome for a system that was already undergoing storm and stress, thus making us object of ridicule in the eyes of the world. is benumbing to note that those who usually occupy the front seats when democracy is being discussed are the architects of these orchestrated plots peculiar with military regimes. Even when we understand that they could be carryover effects of military regime, we never knew they have assumed this frightening dimension. We are therefore calling on the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Govt, a professor of law and senior advocate of Nigeria at that, to please call these persons to order to avoid a needless breakdown of law and order. In any civilized democracy, rule of law and not rule of man is usually the common denominator to engage the democratic process. This idea of wrongfully deploying the Nigeria police force against the people they were meant to protect, has made us mere object of ridicule in the eyes of the world. As a fledgling democracy with all the symptoms of fragility, it is a collective responsibility for us to jealously nurture it to enviable heights where law and order will dictate our democratic engagements. We cannot continue to tolerate acts of omission and commission as the article of faith. Democracy thrives in decency, etiquette, discipline, rules and regulations, law and order, which are the essential ingredients for building a representative government that caters for the wishes and aspirations of all. To the members of the international communities, we are asking that you withdraw the visas that were earlier issued to these undemocratic elements amongst us who have continued to unleash mayhem on statutory authorities for less than altruistic motives. We are also appealing that the international community should stop giving visas to these categories of persons who often run away to seek refuge once they finished executing the dastardly, ungodly and indecent acts. We are already compiling the names of those undemocratic persons for onward transmission to all embassies and foreign missions to either withdraw the visas or refuse them fresh visas. The provisions of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, as amended, stipulates in no ambiguous terms procedure to follow in electing a Senate President and removal of same. All the arm-twisting methods and trying to be clever by half approach will only further compound an already compounded situation. The plot and its execution is an ill wind that will blow no one any good. While the APC on the one hand condemns the PDP and the defectors as inconsequential politicians, it is curious on the other hand to note that the APC has devoted consolidated interest in ensuring that it gets some PDP stalwarts into its fold. This double-faced conduct is suggestive of APC's identity crisis, pretentiousness and sanctimoniousness. At the risk of sounding superfluous, APC could be likened to the chichidodo bird that feeds on maggots but hates the smell of feces, such curious irony that typifies the true reflection of a party in search of its true identity. While it celebrates her members, no matter how questionable the characters, it demonizes other members of political parties who are not in agreement with its present desperate re-election peregrination. It is not an accident of history that each time the president travels for medical attention, something dramatic often takes place. And this present trip, we believe, will unfurl already plotted schemes aimed at removing Senate President, Benue State Governor, and other perceived persons opposed to the re-election of Mr. President.